Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Estadio Independencia in Esteli, Nicaragua, where we are underway tonight in El Clasico Nacional, the biggest and most historic rivalry in the country of Nicaragua as part of the Liga Primera Clausura season. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're just about ready to get underway on a beautiful evening in Esteli. I am Ben Wilson, joined in the broadcast booth by Sean Meadow as the visitors in the black and white Diriangén FC, the Cacique, making the trip north against the best team in the north, El Tren del Norte, Real Estelí FC. So, Sean, should be a good one tonight. You see the visitors kicking off with the home team, El Tren del Norte, in the red and white. This is one of the most historic matchups in the country. Should be a great one tonight.
Absolutely. This is one of those rivalries where everything is on the table, and it doesn't get bigger than second to last game of the season. You have these moments for these teams where it's this buildup, but you have no fans with the coronavirus. So it'll be a little bit less of an atmosphere for what is a Clasico Nacional, but nonetheless, it's still a derby. They're still going to be going guns blazing.
Yeah, we'll set up our lineups in just a moment, but first, as Sean was pointing out, to tell you about the background of this match, this is one of the only leagues in the world still operating. It's essentially Nicaragua right now. One or two other countries throughout the world continue to have soccer, but Nicaragua, they've been really fortunate as a country, have not been hit as hard by the coronavirus as some of the other nations have. They've still, for player safety, decided to keep fans away. But they're still able to play despite trying to get the schedule a little bit more condensed. And we've seen now over the last few weeks, each of these teams has had to play a couple of fixtures in a 7-day period, and both of these teams played over the weekend. They'll both play this weekend as well, with this big match coming on Wednesday. So that kind of gives you an idea of why we're still playing tonight. And with this particular matchup, you have two teams who are deadlocked for the second first round bye for the upcoming Clausura tournament. Just 2 match days left, as it's Esteli who get a early free kick to be taken by Luis Acuna. So these teams tied, Sean, but it's Esteli who have the advantage on goal difference, and that's really been the only thing separating these two teams, as the cross comes in, knotted on by Edgar Castillo, but easily picked up by the keeper for Diriangén, Ronaldo Espinoza.
That's a good location for a free kick. Unfortunate for Esteli to not take advantage of that, but a good position. You get the outswinging of Luis Acuna putting that ball in. It just comes right to the goalkeeper in the end, but that's not a bad position to start for Esteli.
Another chance into the box. Just taking a slip, though, was Edgar Castillo, the 17-year-old, one of the youngest players on the pitch tonight. That's a theme we'll see, though, throughout, Sean. You have, as we were mentioning, so many games compacted into such a short spell, as league officials, they've tried to get all these matches in before any of the coronavirus concerns potentially get worse and there's a surge in the country. So with it being only level 1, that's what they've been indicated for the severity of the coronavirus right now. Trying to get in a lot of matches, but as a result, you're seeing a lot of young players because a lot of the older members of these two teams needing some rest and a lot of tired legs for both sides. At least early, though, looks like Esteli's been on the front foot. Just a few minutes into this 117th playing of the El Clasico Nacional, Esteli leads the all-time series, 52 wins with 40 draws, 24 wins on the Diriangén side from Amba in the south of Nicaragua, making about a 3-hour trip north to Esteli, where we're at the Estadio Independencia. As you were saying, Sean, it is a little awkward not having any fans, but again, I feel like most people echo these sentiments of having the game is better than nothing at all, and these players have certainly embraced that, with a lot of these players on both teams being teammates on the Nicaragua national team.
Yeah, this is a big match for not just the derby, Clasico Nacional, but it's also for these players. There's a rivalry within it. There's these national team implications. There's a big chance now for the visitors.
You'll see the intensity throughout, and we get it right there. Mascara in defense, as it ends up being Kevin Gonzalez, a left back who's pushing forward down that far flank, ends up getting taken down just outside the box. And the first chance on a free kick for Diriangén. Again, each team 9-4-3 in the Clausura. The second part of the season, Nicaragua's Liga Primera, they split the season into two parts. So we're in the Clausura season, the final 18 match days, and this is match day 17. In the 5th minute, and an early chance from that far side.
Got to make sure you get good whip on this cross.
A good ball in, good header opportunity. It was a free header in the end for Abner Acuna, but couldn't get much on it. And it looks like Esteli will be able to clear as they attempt to set up a counter. With Jorge Betancourt, one of the top goal scorers on this team, pushing ahead. Both teams have been very similar in that they each have a trio of players who've scored 4 or more goals in this so far 16-match Clausura season. And so just over 5 minutes in, each team with one good look on a free kick, but nothing to show for it. While we have a moment, we can bring you the starting 11s for both of these sides. Diriangén, again in the black and white. The visitors playing in a 4-4-2 with Ronaldo Espinoza, the 20-year-old, in goal. That back four with Kevin Gonzalez, who we saw a moment ago. We'll get to that in a moment as a little toe poke chance right in the middle for Henry Garcia. Shot then blocked at the top of the box. And it comes all the way out where a hard challenge is taken by Mascara, and he concedes the free kick.
That's great from Henry Garcia getting around on the byline. The cross is one. The strike just gets blocked, and right now Esteli looks like it's the stronger of the sides. It has more force in it, the attack. It's using the width better. I mean, right now, they have been the better side, and they should be keen to score here, but another foul. This one maybe getting a little chippy early.
Shocking to see that, Sean, a derby.
It's El Clasico Nacional.
Derby like this, exactly. I'll tell you about more of the history in just a moment. Want to keep running through the starting 11s, though, for Diriangén, with Eric Tellez, the captain, starting at center back for the Cacique, along with Bismarck Montiel. And one of the newcomers, you're allowed to have a couple youth team members available for each fixture, and Diriangén electing to start one of them. Jefferson Munoz makes his first team debut tonight at right back, while Abner Acuna, who we've seen a couple times already, Jason Coronel in the midfield, along with Tulio Lopez and Danilo Zuniga, who's been the leading scorer so far through the Clausura, 5 goals for the Cacique. Meanwhile, on the Real Estelí side, a 3-5-2 is the formation this evening, with Henry Maradiaga, back from an injury. He had missed a few games during the middle of this Clausura run, but he's back in goal, was named the best keeper of the 2019 Apertura tournament, which is the first half of the Nicaraguan season. As it's Diriangén looking to play out from the back. Rest of that 3-5-2, the back three, Manuel Rosas, along with Jason Casco, the captain, and Josue Quijano, who has the most caps on the Nicaraguan national team of anybody playing tonight in this matchup. The midfield for the El Tren del Norte, consisting of Brandon Ayerdes, along with Mascara, who we've seen a couple hard challenges already, Jorge Betancourt, along with Richard Rodriguez and Henry Garcia. At the top, Edgar Castillo and Luis Acuna. Again, just over 8 minutes into the contest. Thanks so much for joining us in El Clasico Nacional. Sean, Esteli, they've had the upper hand in recent years, especially at home in the regular season, whether it's the Apertura or the Clausura. 7 wins and 3 draws without a loss in the last 10 meetings, but these are always, as we can see early on, really tightly contested, chippy affairs, as you would expect in any top derby.
Right there, on cue, a foul coming from Henry Garcia, but now Esteli is playing with passion. They're going down this left side a lot. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Edgar Castillo. He's playing off of Henry Luis Acuna as well, who's bringing this ball forward from the center. So there's almost this triple threat going forward from Esteli, and I'm excited because right now, I mean, they're playing the way that their name is, El Tren del Norte. It's right there.
Train of the North. Yes, you have the best team in the history of the Nicaraguan League in the northern part of the country and the best team in the southern part of the country, Diriangén. It was Jason Coronel, you saw number 4 in black, who went down, but another chance for Esteli as they look to push forward. 6th time these teams have met this season in the 2019-20 campaign. 4th time in the regular season. They did meet earlier in the Apertura in the semifinals, and they were 2 really tight back-and-forth matches. But it was Esteli who prevailed 1-1. They won on away goals. Low cross coming in. Looking to follow up is Garcia. A nice little move by Garcia on the edge of the box. Looks to send one far post, but doesn't get it right. And again, though, as we're seeing Sean, Esteli doing a good job of pressing forward, and that's the 3rd or 4th good attacking chance they've had in the first 10 minutes.
Getting a lot of space on that left side. Henry Garcia cutting in on the right foot, just trying to curl that. It's a tough angle. You have to get that right, and unfortunately for him, he did not, and that one ends up in the empty stands. But this is looking promising. They haven't been able to really press the goalkeeper, though. So far, it's been real quiet in that goal mouth, but Ronaldo Espinosa is most likely going to be tested at some point, the way that this Real Estelí side is playing, but got to get something on goal.
Tackle there from Richard Rodriguez, who takes the foul on Jason Coronel. But you mentioned Sean Henry Garcia. They're really happy, Esteli, is to have him back. He spent the Apertura out on loan with Managua, the league leaders right now. They do keep a combined table, and Managua is tied at the top in that overall table with Diriangén, but they have the advantage on goal differential right now. And currently lead Jalapa at home 1-0 in a match that just kicked off. So that's a contest that fans of both these teams will be paying attention to as Managua looks to seal the top seed in the Clausura tournament. Again, these 2 teams are playing for the 2nd seed. 6 of the 10 teams in Liga Primera make the tournament, but only the top 2 get buys to the semifinals. So that difference between 2nd and 3rd is really big. And hoping Esteli now with Garcia back from the league leaders. He's scored a couple times in this Clausura season that he'll be able to make a difference. Another foul right on the touchline. This goes Diriangén's way. But when you look, Sean, at how things set up where that 2nd seed is so important, Esteli, they have a pretty big advantage as far as goal differential coming into tonight. So you feel like if you're looking at this from what does Diriangén have to do, a draw probably doesn't do them much good. I know it's a tough ask in a derby getting a win on the road, but they'll be playing for the 3 points today. They know that a draw given a pretty sizable margin, it's an 8-goal differential, most likely means they'll be out of that top 2, assuming that Esteli would get a win over Jalapa on the final match day.
Right now, it's 3 points or bust for Diriangén. There really is nothing that they can get less than that because of that goal differential. It's all Real Estelí as it is in this game so far.
Well, we see a penalty right on the edge of the box. Yellow card being shown as a tackle went down. Kevin Gonzalez taking down Luis Acuna on the right side. And the question now is, where was that foul taken?
Looked like just outside to me. I think it's where it begins, and that one looked like started just outside, putting it right on the line, essentially.
Yeah, that's as close as it gets. Acuna, the 31-year-old Argentinian who's made a couple of nice runs, playing with a heavy heart. They had a minute of silence before kickoff tonight. His father just passed away a couple days ago back in his native Argentina. And that is as close as it gets, right on the edge of the box. Gonzalez goes into the book in the 14th minute. And another big chance for Esteli. Here comes the left-footed Acuna. Low cross, might have deflected through that 4-man wall. Took a little pace off, and Diriangén able to get the clear.
It's a tough angle. That one it's never an easy cross to get into the middle. There's always going to be a crowd of players that you're going to have to get through. Best idea is just to put it as close to goal, but away from the goalkeeper as you can to hope someone can get a touch on that.
It seems like you hear all the time, Sean, from players, you'd almost rather have a little more space to work with, to your point, as we get another collision in the middle of the park. See which way this goes. Again, the first card just brandished on Gonzalez, the 25-year-old Nicaraguan for Diriangén. And both players coming up slow. Jason Coronel, he's been involved in a few clashes already. Trying to get a look at the player on the Esteli side, and that is Henry Garcia, who's also been very bright starting this game. Just over a quarter hour in. Probably not much of a surprise, Sean. Esteli slightly favored in this one, given, despite no fans, still playing on their home pitch at the Estadio Independencia. And they've had a few more opportunities on the offensive end through our first quarter hour.
Yeah, without the fans, it's definitely the lack of atmosphere, but you do have that home field feel around it. That feeling that you are on this home field, something that you're used to. You know the little intricacies of that pitch. And when you're in a game like this, it is a refreshing feeling because you're already as nervous as you are playing in a Clasico.
You see the captain, Eric Tellez, getting involved for Diriangén, 31-year-old from Managua. In his 12th season, so he's the most experienced player on the Diriangén side. 180 caps to his name with the Cacique, while Manuel Rosas also occupies the back line for Esteli, longest tenured of the El Tren del Norte in his 10th season. A lot of history between these two. A little push there, and it's Richard Rodriguez. Always interesting too, Sean, in matches like these to see how the official, you never want to see an official be a part of a match, but in these derby contests, it does become important. How lenient does an official go when you have these small little pushes and small fouls? How long do you let that go before you start throwing out cards? I
think it's been officiated well so far, though.
Yeah, I'm with you.
This has been one of those games where you want to call those fouls because you start letting things go, then you have to let others go. And the moment you start doing that, everything gets loosened. So far, it's been tight refereeing. Calls are being called. Players are going to complain. That's natural, but not lasting that long, which is good. And 18 minutes in, only one card is, I was going to say that's on the low side right now for what a Clasico is.
Esteli, they're looking for some revenge as far as this current matchup with Diriangén, even though they've had the upper hand in recent years, but the Cacique got a 2-0 win in their home building a couple months ago. As this ball chipped in right on the edge of the box again, it's a good opportunity for Esteli to get some numbers forward.
That's really good, intricate play. That's really tough.
You're absolutely right. Diriangén able to get a brief clear, but more danger shown on the Esteli side.
On that right side for Esteli, which they have as much so far this game. They're getting down there through. Good give and go. 1-2 touches, and next in the box. That might have been the best for Esteli, and that final touch, which would have been but in this, they don't get that build. Might have been the best build we've seen so far and the most fluid play that we've seen this Esteli side.
And we've talked about Luis Acuna, who's been responsible for those runs. He's normally a midfielder linking the ball ahead to the forwards at the top. But Juan Barrera is out of the team tonight, one of the most decorated scorers in Nicaraguan history. And a huge loss for El Tren del Norte, so mixing up the lineup a bit for the first-year manager in Holver Flores. Here another chance, edge of the box. This is the other forward, Edgar Castillo. Sees that shot attempt from a tight angle take a deflection out of play, but it earns a corner for Esteli. First opportunity of the night. And again, we'll see Acuna head to that far flag and look to swing one in.
Worth the risk going long on that one. Castillo gets in behind, gets a shot off, but it's blocked out for a corner. Tight angle, you end up getting a corner kick out of it. Could pay some rewards here, and they go short.
Back to Acuna, edge of the box. That shot takes a huge deflection before being nicked away, and it will stay possession for Esteli. We saw that run from Castillo, enjoying a sensational run of form right now. It was just called up from the youth team to the first team back in November and has scored 4 goals in 11 matches this season. All 4 goals coming in this Clausura. He has been red hot, and I'm sure, Sean, for a club like this, so much history on the Esteli side, he's gotten a lot of people's attention with his performance recently, tied for 7th in Liga Primera with his 4 goals scored so far in this Clausura campaign.
Smart play, consistent, and that's all you can ask from a player in that kind of position.
Somebody who's been homegrown, trained in the team's academy coming up. He and several other youngsters have seen valuable minutes for Holver Flores, who himself is very young. Youngest manager in Nicaraguan football history is this long ball forward, almost fumbled by Espinoza, but he's able to collect. As we near the halfway mark of our opening 45, El Clasico Nacional, Diriangén and Real Estelí, 2 best teams historically in Nicaragua's Liga Primera. We're happy to have you along tonight. One of the only matches going on. In fact, the 5 matches in match day 17 are the only ones in the world that are taking place tonight. All here in Nicaragua. Beautiful evening for El Clasico, as Esteli have had the upper hand possession-wise, but Sean yet to find the back of the net. And this is played out similar to how a lot of these contests have before. I mentioned how back in the Apertura, these 2 played 2 very big draws in which Esteli prevailed 1-1 on away goals when Brandon Ayertis scored and Deary Amba. Another clash in the middle of the park. This one sent forward and taken out of play like another foul. This goes on number 17 in red, Richard Rodriguez. We've already seen 7 in black, Kevin Gonzalez for Diriangén get booked. In a lot of pain is Jonathan Zapata. His first year back with Cacique, 4th year overall, playing in his 98th career game. Second free kick of the night for Diriangén. Sent in close to the top of the 6-yard box, but sent out. Pretty good look to whip that ball in from Bernardo Loureiro. He's been one of the best goal scorers as well for the Cacique. You have players like Loureiro, a Uruguayan, one of several international players on each team. As you see, the head coach, Holver Flores, mentioned how he is the youngest head coach, just 22 years old in the history of Liga Primera. took over right at the end of the Apertura regular season when his mentor, Sergio Rodriguez, was sacked. But he came in right at the start of the playoff run for his team. And over 27 minutes into this contest, Diriangén and Real Estelí. Once again, Ben Wilson and Sean Meadow with you this evening. Still looking for the opener so far. Meanwhile, in Managua, the nation's capital, the hosts there have gone up 2-0 over Jalapa as the overall leaders trying to lock up the #1 seed for the Clausura tournament. But right now, it's the El Clasico Nacional, biggest rivalry matchup between Diriangén and Real Estelí, and it's been another tight one so far, Sean, as we get another knock in the middle of the park. We'll try to get a look at the injured player when we can in a moment. Again, just past the 28th minute mark. We've seen a couple of knocks taken for each side so far. Again, one yellow card brandished earlier to Kevin Gonzalez, the left back for Diriangén. With the stretcher out, we'll see the player taken down, brought to the far touchline, and we've got a couple down at the moment. Henry Garcia plays with that Mohawk, it makes him stand out, the 28-year-old, but he's down on the deck, trying to stretch out his legs, and we'll see more stretcher boards come out. This would be a big loss. Garcia, I was mentioning earlier, had a fantastic apertura on loan with Manawa. Back with the team, and has scored a couple times during the Clausura, and it looks like, wow, it's bad enough for Garcia that he will be taken out of the match. You don't like to see that. Henry Garcia in a lot of pain, and they're stretchering him off as Luis Lopez
Ya tenemos 1000 personas conectadas en nuestra transmisión. Álvaro Herrera dice un saludo para Mario Quechenche, fiel fanático del Tren. Atención, el balón en defensa, presiona Edgar Castillo. A cobrar de manos.
But came in during the Apertura tournament and led his club to their 13th title, second all-time for Esteli, behind only Diriangén, but they knocked off the Cacique in the semifinals, and that certainly gave him the benefit of the doubt as far as what the managers and higher-ups in the club thought of Holver Flores, and now here he is, his side tied for second in the Clausura, ahead on goal differential over Diriangén with, again, just 2 matches to go. But deadlocked so far, 0-0 through our first 36 minutes.
Diriangén will be very happy if they're still scoreless at halftime. They've definitely been on the back foot most of this game. It's been Esteli, as this ball for Castillo is great.
Wow, and it had to take a Herculean tackle at the end. Great ball from the back. Castillo, you're right, Sean, would have been in on goal. But what you mentioned a moment ago, it brings into play that dichotomy for Darion. They've been on the back foot. However, they really need the 3 points tonight. It will do them no good in reality unless they were to get awfully lucky in the final match day with just a draw, given that they are 8 goals behind in the differential. So we'll see if that calculus changes maybe as we get into the next 45, if Diriangén trying to be more aggressive on the counter, but they've been content to let Esteli push forward and get a lot of chances, at least through the first 37 minutes of this contest.
And Esteli's playing with some patience right now. Build up, looking for the right ball. And this one, another long ball from the left trying to go through the center. That diagonal ball has been catching Diriangén's back line a little bit off right now. And Castillo's trying to take advantage of that. I like the idea, using him as a true number 9, as that center forward. But the intricate play on this right side, left side for Esteli has been what this team has been doing best so far. So might be better to stick to it if they are to try and score, but the best balls have been those diagonal balls for Castillo down the middle.
And you have to consider too, Sean, you have a 17-year-old in Edgar Castillo. He's been in this blistering form as of late, but still you're asking a lot for a teenager at this point, especially with Juan Barrera, one of the elder statesmen, a 30-year-old, and one of the most experienced players in Nicaraguan football, unavailable tonight. So that, combined with Henry Garcia going out with an injury earlier tonight in the 30th minute, makes life tough for Castillo as we see another card given out, and that comes to Yon Mascara. So the second yellow given now on the Esteli side in this first half.
It's a strong challenge. It's a card that you're going to have to take, and I think every Esteli player is going into this game expecting that they might be in the position where a yellow card could be brandished for them. Especially just the build-up for El Clasico Nacional, and then the liveliness that this game provides, even without the atmosphere that the ultras, that the fans bring.
Yeah, look a moment ago at Yon Mascara, 31-year-old Colombian in his first year with El Tren del Norte. But an opportunity for Bernardo Laureiro. Poor free kick attempt, though, comes right at the defending Luis Acuna. Opportunity missed, Sean, for the Cacique to get something started off the free kick, but might have a chance to reset.
Yeah, that ball's got to get up into the air for them, but Esteli not quite out yet.
The youth player, Jefferson Munoz, really his first touch of the night, to send that cross in, but a great job to just shoulder off the ball. And Esteli looked to push forward. There's another searching effort toward Castillo, but he gets double teamed and is then called for the foul.
I'm not sure what that one was for, but he did well to shield Castillo, but I think maybe just backed up into the defender, and that might be why the official has called that one. Just not necessarily making the move for the ball, but more of the move for the defender on that one.
As I was saying a couple minutes ago, though, Sean, you've watched a lot of soccer, and you look at a player like Castillo, you're asking a lot of a guy, solo number 9 shirt at the top, to take those long balls, work against double teams, and then you remember that he's only 17 years old. So it's been a strategy so far that has produced some flashes of openings, but nothing really concrete for Esteli.
Age is but a number, just that maturity on the field can put away that number that you're associated by age, I think. And just he's playing with such passion, such aggressiveness, and in that number 9 role. But another good chance, this one down the middle for a free kick for Esteli. But this is an opportunity, I think. Go wide with it again and try build from this one. But you have a player like Edgar Castillo who can win balls in the middle. If you're good enough, you're old enough for me to be in the first team. And he's proving his worth so far.
Another look at the tackle from Tulio Lopez. He joins Kevin Gonzalez in the book. So 2 yellows now on each side as we play late in this first half. Just a few minutes to go in the opening 45. Looking to press forward is Richard Rodriguez into the edge of the box. Ironist on his left foot. Nice ball in, and that little half boot attempt is knocked away as Mascara had a little half chance. Still maybe an opportunity, but he pops that over the bar. And a goal kick for Ronaldo Espinoza.
Went for the overhead at the end and goes over the bar, but maybe worth the effort in that moment. Just that ball pops up for him, but the was great. The opportunity on that right-footed shot from Mascara, but very unfortunate that a defender once again gets in the way.
Yeah, more of a defender in Mascara pushing forward. He has scored, though. Scored on a 5-0 win against Ocotal back on February 1st for Esteli, who've been solid at home in the Clausura, 5-2-1 at the Estadio Independencia, but 3 wins and a draw over the last 4 in this building. Just interesting, Sean, how much can change, though, in a matter of months. How for Diriangén, last time they were in this building in the regular season, they lost 3-1 and fell to the bottom of the table. As this ball comes in, goes past a couple Esteli players right around the 6 and ends up getting sent out.
Oh, that was dangerous. Just needed to get a boot on that, but unfortunately for Esteli did not. But that's the kind of attack, that's the kind of ball, low, whipping ball in that you want your strikers like Edgar Castillo, Henry Garcia, Luis Acuna. You want those type of players in the middle there, and they had the numbers. Just unfortunate that that doesn't land on their feet.
Some good opportunities for both sides, but as we approach the final minute before stoppage time in the first 45, neither side able to break the deadlock. It is just wild, though. You think about, just to finish the thought on De Silva, Sean, how he replaced Mauricio Cruz, was sacked after the 3-1 loss in this building last fall. And at the time, team was in the cellar after 8 match days. De Silva takes over, leads the Cacique on a 9-1-0 finish to go all the way up to second in the table before they fell in the Apertura semifinals to Real Estelí. And that's only deepened the rivalry between these two sides, where there have been a lot of memorable matches and club-changing matches over the years. This one tonight could certainly be a preview of a semifinal if these two hold their current positions and then held seed. Sean, you could see these, I think a lot of people in Nicaragua expecting this to be the matchup in the Clausura semifinals in a couple weeks' time.
it's looking that way. Both teams, those 31 points, and second and third looking ever so solidified, really. It's just who gets to host when. And I think that's what they're playing for. And, you know, a Clasico Nacional for the semifinal is pretty special as we get that 1 minute of stoppage time for this first half.
And by the way, Manawa ahead 3-0 in the first half at home against Jalapa. They came in 5 points clear of both Esteli and Diriangén for the top seed. So it looks like they will clinch that number 1 seed tonight. Again, these two teams tied for second, but Esteli has a big advantage on goal differential. So a draw would not be the worst thing for Esteli. Of course, in a derby, you're looking for the 3 points. Both teams are tonight. Maybe one last chance for Esteli trying to press forward, but good job in defense by the captain, Eric Tellez. Stops that run. And shipped away. Wearing the captain's armband, Manuel Rosas. He fires away from long range. Doesn't get much on it, though, and that will send us to the end of our first 45. Some good opportunities on both sides, a pair of yellow cards for each team, but at the end of our first half, we remain without a goal. Diriangén and Real Estelí knotted up at 0-0. Sean, your thoughts on what was an entertaining first half, but a first 45 that does not produce a goal on the scoreboard?
Well, Real Estelí with good attacks from both the left and right side. Down the middle in the air for Edgar Castillo was the closest that this team came to getting those opportunities to fall. But watching this way that this team is playing down the wings, I'm hoping to see more of that in the second half, because that has been the stronger side of this attack for Esteli. And right now, Diriangén is going to be very happy going into the half 0-0. You look at the way that they're playing, and you look at the way that Diriangén is playing. One team is playing to win right now, and that is Esteli.
Well, these are the two best defensive teams in Liga Primera, Esteli and Diriangén. We'll see who can find the opener in the second half. Right now, though, it's 0-0 after 45 minutes. We'll step aside, take a break. When we come back, it is the second half from the Estadio Independencia. So join us then, again, at the break. Real Estelí 0, Diriangén 0.
A quienes nos alientan desde el primer partido. A quienes nos abrazan en las victorias y nos levantan en las derrotas. A quienes nos alientan cada día a alcanzar la cima. A quienes nos llenan de fuerzas cantando en la grada. A esos que no los detiene ni el sol ni la lluvia. A los que con su grito de combate hacen temblar al adversario. A vos, que jugás con nosotros, que sudás la camiseta, que defendés el escudo. A vos, fiel seguidor del glorioso Tren del Norte. Para vos es este triunfo. Para vos es nuestra victoria. Gracias, fanaticada. Yo soy del Tren. quienes nos alientan desde el primer partido, a quienes nos abrazan en las victorias y nos levantan en las derrotas, a quienes nos alientan cada día a alcanzar la cima, a quienes nos llenan de fuerzas cantando en la grada, a esos que no los detiene ni el sol ni la lluvia, a los que con su grito de combate hacen temblar al adversario. A vos, que jugás con nosotros, que sudás la camiseta, que defendés el escudo. A vos, fiel seguidor del glorioso Tren del Norte. Para vos es este triunfo. Para vos es nuestra victoria. Gracias, fanaticada. Yo soy del Tren.
We welcome you back inside the Estadio Independencia, where the teams are heading out for our second half in this El Clasico Nacional between Real Estelí and Diriangén. 0-0 through our first 45 minutes. So happy to have you along on a beautiful Wednesday night in Nicaragua. Temperatures in the upper 70s and clear with no fans, of course, in attendance. These teams are allowed to play despite the ongoing coronavirus concerns, but fans encouraged to stay away and watch from home. And despite fans in the stands, it's certainly been a fun El Clasico so far, but yet to see the opening goal scored. Again, Ben Wilson back alongside Sean Meadow. Sean, fun first 45. We were talking at the end of that first half. A lot of good opportunities for Esteli. Diriangén, they were content to sit back and defend inside their own box. I'm curious if you think that will change it all as we come out into the second half in a match where both teams really need the 3 points.
The only point I see where Diriangén switches things up and maybe attacks is if they are still 0-0 with 10-15 minutes left to play. They have that opportunity then to maybe get that counterattack push to try and score. At that point, I think that's when we'd see. But right now, Esteli with the primary possession, the attacks, the shots, it's all going one-way traffic. And so if Esteli doesn't keep that up, which they will, assumingly, at the start of this half, I don't see Diriangén risking it early and attacking. Probably sit back some more in their box, focus on defending, keeping this one 0-0 as long as possible. The longer it stays that way, the better it is for Diriangén.
And as you can see, one substitution as we start the second half. Esteli, they already had to bring on Luis Lopez in the 5th minute for the injured Henry Garcia. Now we see a like-for-like change at right back. Oscar Acevedo comes on. He'll replace the veteran Josue Quijano. Again, something we pointed out earlier, Sean, is that with the coronavirus concerns, the league has been trying to condense its matches to fit the season in before any potential surge happens, which would force then the postponement and cancellation of matches. So a lot of games in a short period of time, and we've seen a lot of young players get some action tonight. You see there with Quijano, only last 40 minutes, and he is one of the veterans, the 29-year-old who has won career international caps for the Nicaraguan national team. And you, I think, alluded to it earlier, might be part of the reason why so many matches in such a quick time span. You imagine both managers want to have fresh legs, as fresh as they can, for the final 45 of a big derby match.
And I'm sure they're thinking past that final 45 to Saturday's matches, to the playoffs, because both of these teams will be in the running to win the cup. And you get to that point that you start thinking a little bit ahead. And I think it's a smart move to bring off the tired legs, those getting worked. And that's a smart move, using the substitutions, adjusting to it, and Juan Barrera not being in the roster for the game, maybe come back for Saturday, could come back for just the playoffs.
Cross coming from Kevin Gonzalez. He's playing on a yellow card, as is Luis Acuna, who committed a foul there a moment ago on the Esteli side. And Esteli, they head to Jalapa for the final match day of the Clausura season. Again, there's the Apertura in the fall, the first 18 matches. Then they have a end of fall tournament. And then the Clausura in the spring, with the Clausura tournament coming in a couple weeks. So Esteli will finish at Jalapa. Diriangén will be back home against Real Madrid. Again, those are both Saturday afternoon matches set for 3 o'clock local time in Nicaragua. As the visitors, Diriangén with a free kick chance, but that's comfortably into the arms of Henry Maradiaga, the Jalapa native in Nicaragua, and the 30-year-old. Missed a few matches earlier in the Clausura, but he's to full health. We really only saw one even half chance for the cacique of Deary in that first 45. Much more traffic coming on this side of the pitch with Esteli, El Tren del Norte, with Rosas, the captain, your side to Acuna. That's been a common refrain, Sean. A lot of bodies hitting the deck tonight. There, Jonathan Zapata goes down. As we'll get another look, part of the physicality that defines any rivalry matchup.
Yeah, I was waiting to see if they would make the call on that one. Just took a little bit of time for the official to blow the whistle and point. But we see the foul, and Esteli is going to have to defend another free kick. And free kick from the wing just a few minutes ago at the start of this half. A free kick in a similar position, a little further back and a little more centrally. But this one, a little more dangerous than that one.
Bernardo Loureiro descended in, Uruguayan national. Did get head contact to that cross, but not enough to direct it on goal. And it's quickly taken on the goal kick from Maradiaga.
It was a good ball in, but Esteli does well to defend and just keep that line. That offside line was important. Kept it and was able to defend that one off without having to do too much and get this ball into the half.
Foul one going on the Esteli side. The Diriangén side, foul called on Esteli. But as we saw, I just noticed, Sean, with Loureiro taking that last free kick, he's been pretty quiet tonight. One of the stars in the league overall, Liga Primera. 55 career goals for Loureiro, the Uruguayan who played back in the U17 World Cup in 2009 for his home country. Hadn't done much tonight, along with the rest of the offense for Diriangén. And here a push-off called on the cacique, as this goes back to the host from Esteli.
It's an aggressive start here from Darion in this second half. Esteli is on the back foot a little bit and having to play on the counter here as Acuna brings this one forward. But that's the way that Diriangén is going to approach this start of the half, is try and quickly get a goal. And I think they'll probably start to drop off slowly as Esteli gains possession.
Richard Rodriguez loses out right there. As Danilo Zuniga leading scorer in the Clausura for Diriangén. But these two teams right now tied seconds out of the 10 teams in the league. The top two get buys into the semifinal round. There's a good ball in toward Castillo. Chance for the follow-up, but can't be put in as a slide tackle came across right at the edge of the 6 there. And Castillo, maybe just for a half-second shot, might have felt like he had enough daylight to go for goal. But it ends up coming to nothing as Esteli try to keep possession. Again, Castillo right on the edge of the box. And this shot well over the bar from Jorge Betancourt. Probably the best opportunity of the night, though, for the hosts for Esteli.
By far, the ball in right here. We get another look at it. It's Castillo in on his left foot. First time, cross goal. The save is right into the middle. And neither attacking player for Esteli could get to it as it's cleared away. Just unfortunate. But that ball through from Richard Rodriguez was perfectly placed. Edgar Castillo gets on it. He does the right thing, a first-time shot, get it on frame. And Ronaldo Espinosa, the goalkeeper for Diriangén, he puts it right back. That is a dangerous save. You got to push that one away to the other touchline. He ends up putting it right back in the midfield. I'm sure his defenders will berate him for that one, but very fortunate that that doesn't get out to either of the lurking Esteli players.
Another chance to get a cross in for Ironist, edge of the box. This one deflected by the youth player, Jefferson Munoz. And again, more dangerous opportunities for Esteli. And I'm with you, Sean. You make a great point with the 20-year-old Espinosa in goal. And he has Jason Coronel to thank for that slide tackle, keeping it 0-0. As we see another yellow, third of the night on the Diriangén side. About 7 minutes into this second 45.
Very strong
look
challenge.
As Zuniga called for that foul and the yellow card.
Have to beat the first man on this cross.
Yeah, you're right. As we've seen a lot of low crosses so far on some of these free kicks. Zuniga, though, did score against Esteli in the 52nd minute of the 2-0 win for the Cacique in the first meeting of the Clausura between these two teams. That was in Deary, Amba last month. So what can Luis Acuna do? He's had a couple of these chances set up on free kicks, the Moreno, Argentina native. Better ball this time. Toward the 6. Rodriguez got a shoulder to it, but a good job in defense by the Cacique. Still kept alive. Good header on, but right to Espinosa waiting for it. And Diriangén, nervy few minutes. Sean seeing a lot of traction toward their goal, but able to hold firm, and it stays 0-0.
Another great ball in. I think the second ball was the best one there. Another chance.
This time headed over the bar as crashing in was Brandon Ironist, and that one really coming out of nowhere on a great ball up ahead. Ironist just couldn't quite control the path of his header.
It's those diagonal balls. They're doing it again.
Yeah.
We've seen 2 of them in the last minute and a half there, and in the first half, that was the best type of cross that was working for Edgar Castillo, and here we go. It's starting to click a little bit, and these are turning into their best chances for Esteli, pardon me.
Brandon Ironist, he scored the clinching goal in the semifinals of the Apertura. That was the fall tournament, where Esteli, after a tightly contested 0-0 draw in this building, drew 1-1 in Deary, Amba. But El Tren del Norte heading south, won on away goals. Again, here's Ironist into the box. Nice slide tackle to take away. Who was that last off of? The official says it's off Esteli and a goal kick.
It was a good ball for Luis Acuna to get Ironist into the box, but unable to get his foot to it in time and get that shot off. He tried to go with his left foot facing the goal. Might have wanted to try and take that with his right if he could, but unable to do so in the moment, just had a half step wrong, and it's defended well. Still 0-0 here.
Like you said earlier, Sean, in the first half, age is just a number. Brandon Ayertis, he plays much older than his age, 20-year-old from Hinotepe, small town just south of the capital city of Managua. And looking at him, you wouldn't think he's barely out of his teenage years from the way he tracks balls down, such a ferocious runner, especially attacking down those flanks, and does his part to challenge opposing defenses. Can Diriangén come up with a counterattack? It's snuffed out, though, by Yon Mascara, one of the oldest players in the side, 31-year-old from Colombia. And it's Ayertis again on the right wing. Castillo in the middle. Ayertis to his right into the box and looks to draw a corner. He does, as the captain had to come in and make that challenge.
Perfectly timed tackle, but on top of it, you have Ayertis. He gets down that wing and he's doing these step overs, and it's working. So he's going to do that, and these defenders are going to go to ground. It's a dangerous position to do that because he's going to get his foot to the inside of that ball, and that makes the defender closer to his body than the ball. So the timing on that tackle was perfect.
Good cross in, but headed clear by Laureiro. Just past Ayertis on the edge of the box, and it ends up being Luis Lopez, who initially took that corner, slotting it right at Ronaldo Espinoza. And we mentioned going into our halftime break, Sean, how these are the two best teams defensively so far in the Clausura. They've only conceded 10 times, each of them, through 16 matches. And for Diriangén, who have struggled on the road, they have to, I think, feel positive about the fact they are still at 0-0, despite a lot of opportunities for Esteli. But 2 draws and 2 losses in the last 4 matches away from home for Flavia de Silva's men. And they've been unable to generate much offense, but at the same time, a frustrating first 57+ minutes for Esteli. Some good chances for El Tren del Norte. Acuna trying to keep it alive for the visitors and does earn a free kick after the foul. As we were talking about earlier, these two teams fighting for the second bye. 6 of the 10 get into the season-ending Clausura, but the top 2 get semifinals, and Managua up 4-0 right now at home in the second half against Jalapa is about to clinch the number 1 overall seed. So these two tied. Goal differential, is to the side of Esteli. They have an 8-goal differential advantage, so they right now would be the number 2 seed, but still a lot to play for with just over a half hour left to go. From Estadio Independencia in Esteli in the north of Nicaragua. Sent out by Bismarck Montiel, but they'll bring it back. Foul right in the middle of the park.
It's been difficult to break down for Esteli just on the ground. They're going into the air, and that's when they're getting their best opportunities, is attacking through the air. But right now they're going on the ground. It's okay for the time being, but you see these long balls right here. You defeat that 11-man blockade, which is going up against them. You're able to bypass that midfield, and then the defense is all you have to worry about. And with a player like Edgar Castillo, who's doing a good job at shielding the ball and getting his feet to it, he's able to shield it and get it down.
Another strong run from Castillo leads to the corner. After a good ball sent out, Esteli looked to reset. Ayertis shot blocked, gets it back into the box, low driven cross, booted away. As Ayertis gets shouldered off the ball by Kevin Gonzalez, playing on a yellow card, it should be noted, for Diriangén. And as we near the hour mark, more chances to push forward. I wonder where Flavio da Silva goes with his first sub. Esteli again with Hover Flores, the manager. They've already made 2 changes, but yet to see our first change for the Cacique. The team nickname for Diriangén, if you're unfamiliar, means chief, as is referred to in Central America, while the Train of the North, referring to Real Estelí. This cross a bit too tall for Edgar Castillo, but Tren Norte will win a corner out of it as Tellez had to send it over and out of play.
And again, it's those aerial balls from a diagonal. It's getting them into the box and winning corner kicks, which seems to be the way that Esteli is getting its best chances.
And here will be the first sub right on cue, just past the hour mark. Jorge Vargas, one of 4 active foreign players on the roster for the Cacique, is in replacing Tulio Lopez on a yellow card. On the cross, or the corner, excuse me, comes all the way out to Luis Lopez. Deflection for Ironist. Onto his left foot. Tried for the fancy attempt at the far post and missed it badly.
Might want that one back. Left foot is maybe the better way to go on that one, but going with the audacious effort, you can't fault him, but in a moment like that, 0-0, you want to just hope that you can get that one on frame and maybe you get a rebound out of it. Maybe something comes of it. Maybe you just score directly from the shot, but you put it over the bar like that, there's no chance but a goal kick.
Well, sometimes, Sean, in El Clasico, you do see the players go for a golazo, and that was probably the case right there. Doesn't mean it's the right decision, but again, that rivalry setting gets the juices flowing a little extra sometimes, and we saw that from the 20-year-old Ironist. As a man goes down on the far side, and a free kick coming to Diriangén. Luis Lopez, again, he was on as a substitute for the injured Henry Garcia on a half hour. Getting a talking to from our head referee. 3 yellow cards on the Diriangén side, 2 for Real Estelí. As with any derby, there has been some history of bad blood between the two. A couple players are still on the side for each team that were involved in a huge brawl back in 2013 that saw a number of players suspended for as many as 6 matches on both sides, including Eric Tellez, the captain for Diriangén, who's back in the starting lineup tonight. This one has been a little more tame by comparison, with Esteli on the front foot looking for the opener. Luis Acuna sending it forward for Lopez on the left side. And he's defended by Vargas, the Colombian, just into the match. First sub made a moment ago for Diriangén. Trying to stay on his feet is Abner Acuna, and he will draw the foul. Yon Mascara again. He's on a yellow, not happy.
I think they've called him for a handball. As he went down, he's saying that he hit it with his head.
Yeah, it's one of those plays where you have to be a little careful, especially on the yellow. You don't want to be too flagrant with how much you express your disappointment that the call goes against you. Get a second yellow for dissent, but I think you're right. Mascara had reason to be upset as we see the second sub of the evening. So the youth team player, Jefferson Munoz, making his senior debut tonight. Held his own for over an hour. He comes off. And Elvin Hernandez will come in at right back for the Cacique. Again, maybe a bit surprising, Sean, to see a player with that little experience out there for so long in a match like this. But as we've said a couple times, a very condensed end of the season schedule with the coronavirus concerns. So a lot of matches in a quick amount of time. And so a lot has been asked of these youth team players. And Jefferson Munoz, we didn't see him on the ball much tonight. But again, as a defender, it's not the worst thing. He was able to keep the ball out of goal, and you could see him getting a nice hand from his manager, Flavio da Silva, on the way out.
Yeah, that was a good shift. That's what you want, is the least important players are the defenders when you come to talking about them. So us as commentators, if we can keep their names out of our mouths, that's better for them.
And he had to deal with a lot trying to defend on that right side as a right back, dealing with players like Luis Acuna and Edgar Castillo to an extent, Brandon Ironist as well. And given the danger presented by both of those players, he certainly has some say in the fact that we are still deadlocked at 0-0 with just about 25 minutes and some stoppage time still left to be played in the penultimate match day of the Clausura 2020 season in Liga Primera. These are the two winningest clubs in Nicaraguan history. Diriangén, one of the oldest clubs in all of Central America, formed way back in 1917. So they came along about 45 years before Real Estelí. This ball sent toward the box, headed back, and a shot coming well wide that is sucked in by Henry Merida in goal. Abner Acuna drags this one several feet outside the woodwork. Those opportunities, though, Sean, have been few and far between. You just can't help but wonder, for a team that's been on the back foot like Diriangén for most of the night, you just rush those chances ever so slightly when they come into your vision. That seemed to be the case there from Abner Acuna, as the third and final sub is coming. Taufik Guarch, who's been fantastic off the bench for Esteli throughout the Clausura campaign.
Been excited to see this player. He's from Mexico. He's been a bright spot coming in, and that's the kind of player you want in this situation. 0-0. He's the kind of spark that you need. You need a goal. You need a big chance. That's the kind of guy you want on the end of that ball.
Ironist on the right side draws a lot of attention. And then with a little shove toward the corner flag, concedes the free kick. And a little talking to with him and the defender for Diriangén. I believe that is Jonathan Zapata. And it is, as Ironist will track back, and he is now given a yellow card. So each team now given 3 yellows. It was Gonzalez for Diriangén, along with Tulio Lopez, who's now out of the game. Back in that first half was shown a yellow, and Danilo Zuniga. Meanwhile, it's now Ironist who joins Luis Acuna and Yon Mascara. Those 3 all still in the match, and they will be for the rest of the 90 with that third substitution made. And as you mentioned, Sean, with Guarch, leads the team 5 goals in 16 matches in the Clausura, tied for 4th in Liga Primera. And a lot of those goals have come from rolls off the bench, the native of Guadalajara. And a player who's had braces twice so far against Real Madrid and Ocotal. So a lot of hype for the 28-year-old who played in the U20 World Cup for Mexico back in 2011. We'll see what impact he can have on the game. Acuna's shot blocked right away. Diriangén still electing to sit back, try to play for the counter. And they do win a free kick with the captain, Eric Tellez, along with Jason Coronel. You see number 4 in black, arguing should have been more there, maybe a card. But as you said earlier, Sean, you feel like the head officials done a pretty good job tonight, keeping things under control in a hotly contested match.
Absolutely. Been an excellently officiated match from start to so far, 70 minutes in. This has been very tight. The calls are being made. The players, they protest for long. and we haven't seen any incidents that are warranting a red card yet. And I think that's partly because players know they can't quite get away with things.
Us into that final 20 minutes now can really heat up in this 107th edition of El Clasico Nacional. It's been a long time Darion into this and won outright in a regular season contest. 7 wins, 3 draws, no losses over the last 10 at home for Esteli during the regular season. But always an important match for both sides. With Esteli, they would take a draw. They obviously would like the 3 points given that they are at home, even playing with all the fans being forced to watch from home today. But having a pretty solid goal advantage on the goal difference margin. These teams, again, tied for second in the Clausura. But we'll see if we can get some late drama into the final 20 minutes. It is Guarch on that right side just coming into the game.
He's also a big presence. Look at the size.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Guarch sending it toward the middle. Wanted Ironist at the edge of the 6, but that's skied away. And again, Diriangén avoiding disaster at the back. The Mexican national again, Taufik Guarch with the ball coming in. Without Juan Barrera tonight, unavailable for the team for Esteli. As far as goal scoring experience, somebody who's done it for some time, Sean, you have to say Taufik Guarch, probably the most dangerous guy. And probably he and Jorge Betancourt, 2 of the more players with experience and danger when you get them a sight of goal.
Absolutely, and that is why the absence of one has been looming large on this game. We haven't seen those huge moments quite yet, and if they do come, you have a player like Gauch who's in there now, and that's what you would hope that he provides. But it'll be interesting to see how this team adjusts as well, moving on after this game, just with what Juan Barrera means to this team.
They will go to Jalapa, who are currently getting thrashed in the nation's capital, down 5-0 at Managua right now. So Clausura leaders will secure the number 1 seed in the Clausura tournament. Again, that doesn't mean a whole lot unless we get to the end of the season, and if Esteli were to win both the Apertura and Clausura, they've already qualified for the CONCACAF League next year. But if they were to win both tournaments, as Nicaragua, they get 2 spots in that CONCACAF League, which is a qualifier for the CONCACAF Champions League. It would go to the next best finisher in the table. Here, Ironist, deep cross, headed back toward Rodriguez. Lopez stepped right in front of it. Back to Luis Lopez. Low ball coming in, scuffed right in the middle. Chance for Guarch, and he ends up pushing off the Diriangén defender as Tellez, the captain, hits the deck. Actually, it's not Tellez, it's the man right next to him. Trying to get a look, I believe, and we'll see it here. It is Jason Coronel, who's been a key fixture, Sean, of that back tonight for the Cacique.
And that was a big chance right there. Richard Rodriguez really wanted that on his dominant left foot. As that ball came back to him, couldn't get the shot off. I think one of his own team have gotten in his way, and that just caused for problems. Really no good shot ended up coming off in that moment. Just such a good opportunity, though, for Real Estelí.
At the second really good chance of this half for the hosts, but we stay without a score nearing our final quarter hour as Abner Acuna gives chase. And Luis Acuna on the Esteli side, but concedes the goal kick. So as I mentioned with how that CONCACAF League works, so right now, Esteli, they've already clinched a spot. It's the Apertura winner and the Esteli having won the Apertura over Managua back in the fall, but it's those 2 winners who get the Nicaraguan spots. one advances automatically into the round of 16, while one has to go through qualifying, and it's whoever finishes higher up in the table. And as of tonight, looks like Manawa will have essentially clinched that top spot in the overall table. They were tied with Diriangén, but led on goal differential entering the evening. So they look to be well on their way to an overall first place finish. Corner coming, but headed well over the bar by a charging Yon Mascara. And another set piece comes to nothing for Esteli.
That was a great ball in, and Mosquera does well to get up, but unable to get his head above that ball and bring it down onto frame. And that's been really the story of the night right now for Esteli.
Been some nervy moments for the man you saw a moment ago, Ronaldo Espinoza, 20-year-old from Manawa. 21st appearance of the year. Trying to make it 2 clean sheets in a row, though, for the man in goal for Diriangén. He's had a couple close calls, but still 0-0 as we play in the final quarter hour from an empty Estadio Independencia. One of just a couple leagues worldwide still playing, as Nicaragua has been one of the lesser hit countries by the coronavirus. You just have to think too, Sean, a lot of eyes on this match tonight. Always a lot of eyes on El Clasico here in Nicaragua, but especially on the global scale. You think about the chance that these players have. They're really the only game in town on a global scale tonight. How much more added do you think that has, just given the number of scouts most likely watching these matches, maybe from places like Mexico, where a number of these players have gotten chances at the lower divisions and elsewhere?
Absolutely. It's just fans. This is an opportunity for these players to showcase the league, showcase what they're capable of, a way to also bring joy for people in such tough times. This is a moment of escape for fans. Live sport, live football, and coming from Nicaragua.
Goals are also what fans like as well. That's what we're still looking for tonight in what's been a tightly contested, physical match between the two most historic rivals in all of Nicaraguan football. So far, though, Esteli and Diriangén deadlocked 0-0. This ball from Lopez blocked out. The midfielder, 21-year-old, looks to chase. Lopez into the box. Run for Lopez, takes a big deflection and ends up going wide of the target. Maybe a bit of luck from Lopez as that ball fell right to, but did the most to take advantage, and pretty good effort in the end, just took a deflection out in front of goal.
Huge chance. Just, again, unfortunate. Players from Diriangén have done very well to get in front of these shots and make these blocks. It's been vital for this team, and now the yellow card being branded again this time. I think it was Richard Rodriguez.
Yeah, he was the 4th member of El Tren de Norte to head into the book. The Toledo Uruguay native, who is a naturalized Nicaraguan and has played for the men's national team. 7 caps for us in his Nicaraguan international career. Both teams with a number of international players. That's the distinction of having the most Nicaraguan men's national team players. That only enhances a rivalry when teammate stage playing for clubs. This one was snipped away by Jason Casco, the captain for Esteli. Teles looks to get a cross in. Good chance right in the middle, and a save made by Yaga. Best chance for Diriangén all night. And a pretty good strike, but Yaga, the 30-year-old, was ready for it.
That's a big moment right there. That is huge, because here we are with just a few minutes left to play, just over 10 to go. This ball gets right through everyone. The shot is good. And the goaltending is phenomenal. Henry does well to get down and make that save and push it away.
Bernardo Loureiro, he's been a fantastic goal scorer and scored in the win over Esteli back in Amba in March. 28 almost had his fifth of the Clausura for Diriangén as we come up on the 80-minute mark of this 117th edition of El Clasico Nacional. So to have you along with us tonight, we're just looking for a goal. We'll see who finds one. But in the last couple minutes, it's been Diriangén to try and attack after Esteli, the hosts, have been on the front foot most of the night. And here comes El Tren del Norte, looking for Ironist as he tries to chase it down and keep it in play. He's able to do so and wins the throw. Quickly in for Jorge Betancourt, and his cross deflected away for a corner as Kevin Gonzalez got a boot to it.
It's another chance for a corner kick here. Esteli's had some good opportunities from the corners, but they haven't had their best from it. So this is a moment now where you have these substitutes, you have these players who maybe have this height advantage for your team. And if you're Esteli, you've got to find one of their heads. They've had these crosses come in, but they just haven't been able to capitalize on any of these headers quite yet.
Most of the crosses were taken by Luis Acuna in the first half for Esteli, and it's been Luis Lopez now in the second 45. They go short, but the official says they weren't ready. Ball, I believe, was still on the pitch. So now they'll restart things with Lopez, native of Managua, 21-year-old in his fourth year with the club. Low driving cross, get past the first man though for Diriangén. Now that ball stays in play, a chance for the Cacique to get a counter with Zapata keeping it in play. Taken away by Lopez, and a big call as we've seen this game start to open up ever so slightly into the final minutes.
As this one gets closer to the 90, I think with still being scoreless, we start the chippiness come back again that we saw in that first half. It is a Clasico. It is a big one for both of these teams, obviously in the standings as well, not just in that natural rivalry aspect. This is a lot more on the line than a normal Clasico.
Well, the coach, Flavio da Silva for Diriangén, he said coming into this match yesterday, this would really show just how brave his team was in a setting like this. Even without the fans trying to impose their will. Still a tough ask to come into the best team over the past couple decades in Nicaragua, Esteli, big rival. As this ball sent forward, Goarch almost got to the end of it. Appeals on one hand for handball on Goarch, and appeal for a penalty from the Mexican, and instead they just say free kick or goal kick rather on hand side.
Strange moment. I'm not sure if he was offside or if he got it down with his hand.
He had his hand up as that ball came across, more to just regain balance. It looked like anything, Sean, but it didn't appear to be much of a push off. It ball ended up in Espinosa's hand, the Diriangén keeper. There was a little bit of contact though as he made his way into the box. You could see where the argument come in. It would have been a tough penalty to give, but nonetheless. Well, this one fall to Goarch, sends it back out. Lopez the shot, and it just misses wide by about a foot from the left. Luis Lopez.
Shot finally comes through, but this time it fizzes past the frame of goal. Another look at this as it's brought down beautifully by Goarch. Shot. That one's inches away from the post. My goodness.
We've seen the impact Taufik Goarch can have on a game. I guess you could call him a super sub. Sean coming in, the way he has impacted games off the bench in the Clausura. Team leading 5 goals, almost set up teammate Luis Lopez for his second of the year. Now Lopez with the cross. This one to the edge of the box, but Rodriguez couldn't really get his shoulders square and sends it wide for a goal kick.
Tough to wrap his foot around that one. Takes the bounce, it's in the air. And now maybe some tactics here from Diriangén.
You have to imagine all the players starting to be more and more cognizant of that clock as it ticks toward the 90th minute. One sub left to be made for Flavio da Silva, the Brazilian, and he'll take it here with Alvaro Hernandez, 20-year-old forward. They'll replace Abner Acuna. So a relative like for like. Trying to bring on a fresh set of legs in the attacking positions.
Álvaro Hernández, el que ingresa a la cancha. Balón hacia adelante. El cabezazo fue de Mosquera.
So for Diriangén, needing the 3 points if they want any chance of a first round bye. But as this match gets later and later, seems more likely, and it's seemed this way from the outset, Sean, that we will see these two teams meet up again in the Clausura semifinals, assuming there are no crazy upsets and teams hold seeds. We could,
yeah, this is what we'll be looking at in that moment.
Oh, cross in, another chance at a header, but couldn't quite get the angle with a couple defenders crashing in. And another half chance goes waiting for Esteli. All it takes is one, but neither team has been able to find that final touch at goal. Taufik Guarch, you see right in the middle of the box, 15 in red. He's had a big impact, the sub since coming on. And a foul called here. This is on Yon Mosquera. He's been involved in a lot of challenges right in the middle. And if that's yellow on Mosquera, he will be done. And that is the case. Yon Mosquera given a second yellow and sent off as we take another look. The challenge on Bernardo Laureiro.
Leaves the ground, comes in fast from behind. I see where the referee's coming with this yellow card, and that's the end of the night for Mosquera, and that's going to be 10 men now for El Tren del Norte. Just the final 5 minutes plus of this one.
Second yellow for an obviously upset Yon Mosquera, but you're right, Sean, you get another look, especially in a match like this that's been so physical, a challenge to that extent, hard not to see yellow. And it's unfortunate for Mascara, who already had one of those on his ledger, so he is sent off. And now for Real Estelí, it's about survival. Again, a draw really doesn't hurt El Tren del Norte in the grand scheme of things, but now you're down a man, and we'll see if this reinvigorates Diriangén for the final couple minutes. Likely to see, you would think, at least a couple minutes of stoppage time, maybe one added on, Sean, after that red card.
Yeah, probably one or two, I think, is what we'll be looking at. But right now, this game, it's heading to that point of stoppage time is going to be a key moment in this.
I know I asked you earlier, if at what point did you think Diriangén would start to really push forward and be aggressive, knowing that they need the 3 points more than Esteli does, at least from the standings point of view. And I guess this would be the time, now having a man advantage. But Esteli, keep in mind, they've been really dangerous on the counter as well, even with being down a man, still a chance to push forward. Luis Lopez into the box, can't find the feet of Guarch. A half appeal for handball, but didn't look like there was really anything in that on the Diriangén side, and the Cacique looked to push to the other end as we near the 90th minute.
This is when a push is needed. This is the moment for either team. You're going to look at this last minute and change and think about one last chance and who you want the ball at the feet of.
It's the 117th edition of El Clasico Nacional. Over the past couple decades, Real Estelí has really dominated this series and Nicaraguan football in general. As we get to 3 minutes of stoppage time. But Diriangén, they've hung in there, have bent but not broken, despite a lot of good opportunities for El Tren del Norte to strike first. And now, with Diriangén up a man after Mascara was sent off in the 88th minute, we'll see if the Cacique can put anything together. Can Esteli hang on to what at this point would be a crucial draw for El Tren del Norte? As we'll get another yellow card coming. This to the bench area. Officials not liking the chirping going on from the Esteli side. And now a yellow card shown to Holder Flores, the manager for Esteli.
Have to keep the cool here in these moments, but this is why it's El Clásico Nacional. You are going to be excited to have passion, and but the bench is what the players, and this is a big moment for Esteli.
Bernardo Laureiro, 4 goals this season, stands over the free kick. The lefty sends a good ball forward, but it ends up going right into the arms of Henry Yaga, and he'll look to release quickly. Down a man, but Luis Lopez isn't thinking about that. The man for Esteli pushes forward, high looping cross. Guarch gives chase, flicks it back to Ironist, edge of the box. Little nifty piece of footwork by Ironist, and does enough to win a corner as Coronel has to send it out. Just over a minute to play in stoppage time. And Esteli still pushing for the winner. Corner comes far side. This one almost finding the back corner, but again just sails wide.
Excellent header. That is the moment that they needed, but they'll get another opportunity from the corner spot.
I think Sean just slightly deflected on that header attempt. We'll give another corner for Esteli. Here it comes again. Guarch gets ahead to it, but unable to really control. Momentarily spilled by Espinoza, but now he collects. And Guarch not happy that the official blew play so quickly, and they get into it a little bit. Yellow card comes out on Taufik Guarch. The super sub for El Tren del Norte has made a big impact, but has been unable to find the back of the net despite a couple good looks. It did look like Espinoza had that ball pretty well secured. We'll get another look. This was after the header by Guarch. Now he's upset that they blew the whistle right away for that contact with Rodriguez. And then a little extra coming from Guarch. And that'll end up being the final action of tonight's contest. El Clasico Nacional, the 117th edition, ends up a scoreless draw, 0-0 between Real Estelí and Diriangén. But the good news for the hosts, Esteli, they survive a red card in the 88th minute to Mascara. They stay in second place in one of the first round bye spots, as we'll get a red card after the match given out to Bismarck Montiel. So still a lot of talking going on after things end. But Sean, your thoughts from what was a action-packed, probably as entertaining of a match as you could have without there being a goal scored.
Well, I think that might have actually gone to Yaga in the end. He's gone and complained to the referee, but the El Clásico Nacional is it's passion, and that's what this game has provided at its best. And we've watched as Real Estelí had the opportunities to score, and I mean, Esteli has played very well in this game, but it didn't have the opportunities until it was a little too late. And the best chances of this game coming later in the game, and never really putting on a good shot for Ronaldo Espinoza until it was too late. And just the opportunities, the defense, though, Diriangén doing very well to hold this one off. I think the attack, missing Juan Barrera for Real Estelí, definitely a story of this one. But 0-0, a result that Diriangén will be happy with on the day, but in the big picture, Esteli is still the winner out of this one, because the standings, they will still be in second with Diriangén in third.
And that's a good job by you, Sean, to point out that red card. As you get a look at some of the final numbers with the 12 shots, 4 on goal for Esteli, 5 shots, only 1 though on target for Darion, and as Henry Maradiaga, the keeper for Esteli, does pick up the red card after the final whistle. He joins Yon Mascara to see red. But for Esteli, a win on Saturday at Jalapa, they will clinch the number 2 seed and get a first round bye in the Clausura. And that is a good chance that we could see these two square up and again in a couple weeks' time. If that would happen, it would be in the semifinal round of the Clausura, the same round where these two teams met in the Apertura last fall. A lot of fun tonight. It ends without a goal, though, in the 117th edition of El Clasico. Nacional, as we say, so long from Esteli in Nicaragua. Again, for Sean Meadow, I'm Ben Wilson, wishing you safe health and a good evening. Again, our final score, it's Diriangén 0 and Real Estelí 0.
Yeah,